BPod Studios.
BackstageCountry.com, your online home for all things country music. Lainey Wilson is on a roll. She's delivering great music and teaming up with some of country's hottest acts. Text Lainey to 45911 to see which 4 Lainey Wilson collabs have us talking at BackstageCountry.com. Text Lainey to 45911 to get a link to the list sent right to your phone from BackstageCountry.com.
Top headlines.
Patriots made some moves yesterday, releasing defensive tackle Lawrence Guy and safety Adrian Phillips. Offensive lineman James Ferentz announced his retirement. Tackle Trent Brown, as expected, voiding the final year of his contract. He becomes a free agent. Patriots also yesterday officially announced 17 new members of Gerard Mayo's coaching staff. Many had already been previously reported. The 2-week window for NFL teams to use their franchise tag starts today. Kyle Duggar, the most likely target if the Patriots decide to use theirs. The Bruins got a late goal from David Pasternak to tie it and won it in a 9-round shootout over Dallas yesterday, 4-3 the final. Bees head out on a 4-game road trip starting tomorrow night in Edmonton. The Red Sox yesterday signing reliever Liam Hendriks to a 2-year deal worth $10 million. Includes up to $10 million more in bonuses and a mutual option for a 3rd year. Hendriks is recovering from Tommy John surgery back in August. Sox president Sam Kennedy told reporters yesterday Chief Baseball Officer Craig Breslow is operating under the financial parameters that have been set for him. Brooklyn Nets yesterday fired head coach Jacques Vaughn and promoted Kevin Ollie to interim head coach. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by Avidia Bank. They've teamed with Patrice Bergeron again this season for Assists for Kids to raise up to $37,000 to help Metro West families pay for youth hockey. Avidia Bank, honest to goodness, member FDIC, member DIF. I'm Ryan Johnston on Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. More headlines in 30 minutes.
Tatum has been spectacular.
This is Jason Tatum.
Right corner against Embiid. Tatum for a 50-piece.
You're listening to the home of Boston Celtics basketball, 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Zolak and Bertrand get you through the workday at 10. Right now, it's Toucher and Hardy on the Sports Hub.
It's a real situation here on the Toucher and Hardy Show, brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more with FanDuel. Machinery's not working, but there's no one here to fix it. So we have to put a ticket in, but I don't know when anyone will be here to fix it.
Maybe tomorrow. Maybe someday.
Yesterday was a holiday. Perhaps everybody will be back.
There used to be an engineer here in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
Is there just no engineer here in the morning anymore?
I think
never
off today.
Laura, is there ever an engineer here in the morning anymore?
I don't know if it's a regular thing. I thought it was. They are short staffed. They have not filled a couple of the openings that were in the engineering department.
Are they ever going to fill them, or is the idea that they're going to save the money and not hire anyone again?
That's above me.
All right, because if I was hiring,
pretty sure the jobs are posted, but yeah.
Okay, if I was an if I was the station, and I know this week might be different with vacations, but like literally the only time that there are 5 stations here, that 4 of the stations are live is in the morning. Every time else they're automated. Wouldn't you have the engineer here when the shows are live?
You would think that would seem to be good business.
On the line.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're piping in a show from Pittsburgh, like, a guy voice tracking from Pittsburgh on a music station, very low stakes. If you're going to have an engineer, I would imagine you'd want him here while all the morning shows are here live.
Well, this is the least important day part of the day.
Well, they've invested by far the most amount of money in this day part, and so I would imagine that that's when you would want things running smoothly. It's a very odd circumstance.
Yeah.
But they have to get the Bruins games on the air. I mean, that's what the most important thing is. All right, LeBron James is going to retire, and at some point, and I would assume he would have to, unless tragedy strikes. I mean, he would have to retire if he lives long enough. Do we have the audio of LeBron James, Nick, which we told you we wanted 2 hours ago?
Where's
Very
Nicholas?
good. All right, I don't know.
Okay.
All right, here is LeBron James. Let's see what we got here.
I have not mapped out how many seasons I have left. I know it's not that many. I also don't know if I will. I was asked this question a couple of days ago. Will you kind of take the farewell tour, or will you kind of just Tim Duncan it? I'm 50-50. I'm going to be honest, because there's times where I feel like I guess I owe it to my fans that's been along this journey with me for 2 decades plus to be able to give them that moment, where it's every city and whatever the case may be, and, they give you your flowers or whatever the case may be, and that seems cool. But the other side of I've never been that great with accepting, praise. It's a weird feeling for me. I never really talked about it much, but it's just a weird feeling for me. So to go in each city, if that's the case, I just don't know how I feel. I don't know if I will feel great about it.
Yeah, and then he goes, "It might be the only child in me." To which I would say, "What are you talking about? You've done nothing but accept praise. You were on TV in high school. Your high school games were on national television. You made your decision to play for Miami in a disastrous, pre-scripted,
made-for-TV event
with the awful Jim Gray. Your whole life has been accepting praise. You had a commercial for a product that you endorsed, which was literally you walking around Miami with people praising you wherever you went. That was the whole commercial. ESPN made you a literal superhero.
Just click on the front page of ESPN for about 5 years.
They made a cartoon of LeBron James saving the day. What the hell is wrong with him?
If anything, LeBron's biggest fear is that not everybody likes him. He is throughout his career shown a remarkable inability to understand how anyone might be able to criticize him for anything.
What does he lack any kind of self-perspective? He really, and who can blame him? I mean, people's careers have been depending on him since he was 12.
Yeah, he's been the savior of the NBA since he was in high school.
Yeah, I know. And then before that with AAU and everything and the shoe contracts, he's been treated this way since he was pre-adolescent. So you really almost can't blame the guy, but his lack of self-reflection is really, really difficult. The idea that he was asked that question and that he could, with a straight face, say, and then he goes, "It's the only child in me." Well, first of all, what is it? Only children can't accept praise. The whole, and I'm an only child. The whole thing about only children is the idea that you need constant reassurance because you didn't have a big group of people around you. So your psychology's off. He's not smart, man. LeBron James is not smart. I don't dislike him, and I don't blame his abject narcissism. I mean, it's just, why wouldn't he be? Who's ever told him no? He hasn't been told no since he was 12. And he didn't have to work this hard. And as physically gifted as he is, there's guys like Ben Simmons that are just as physically gifted, if not more, that haven't achieved what he's achieved in the NBA. And if you look at Wembanyama and people are saying he's the next LeBron, well, Wembanyama's team sucks. LeBron made the Cavaliers marketably better. LeBron James shouldn't be. No one's in the same conversation as him. So I'm not just blindly hating on LeBron James. It's too easy to do. But he's not smart. I mean, to come on and say, I just don't know if I'm going to do the tour, if I can accept the praise. You can't accept the praise. Your whole, more than anybody, your whole career has been about accepting praise. More than Jordan, it's been about accepting praise. Jordan, the reason Nike is considered the Air Jordan, the reason they've had success and it's considered the best ad campaign of all time, is that they said Jordan's got a great smile and he's a tremendous to look at, but he has zero personality. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this great young director, Spike Lee, and we're going to give him the reins, and he's going to talk for him. And that's the whole campaign. And to this day, you're still buying Jordans for $700. To this day, Jordan's still one of the highest paid athletes because of that ad campaign. But Jordan was some hick from the Carolinas.
And he had the self-awareness. He understood what was going on at the time. He understood why they hired Spike Lee. He said it many times during The Last Dance when they went through that period of time. Gatorade, be like Mike. He got it, and he was sick of the spotlight at the end. LeBron has never been sick of the spotlight. I
mean, just the idea to go like, I couldn't accept it. You couldn't accept them handing you like a plaque at the floor of the Wells Fargo, wherever the hell it is in Philadelphia. You couldn't hand them. That would be too much for you with demure. Like the idea but you owe it to your fans, because the fans. I mean, how could the fans ever go a day?
It's not about
how could you say the two things at the same time? Is that I'm not good at accepting praise. However, it would be unfair to my fans not to give them a year's heads up that I was retiring.
I have to give them that moment to come and appreciate me and bask in my glory.
Yeah, like I'm really humble and not narcissistic at all. But I mean, how am I going to let all these people down without giving them a year's heads up that I'm retiring? As if that it's going to affect anyone's life in the scheme of things that you retire at the end of some season. So, like, if you blew your knee out and couldn't play anymore, it would greatly negatively affect people's lives.
Right. It would deprive people of giving you the flowers you so desperately don't want to have.
And then he said, giving me the flowers. Ugh. Everything about him, he's just not smart. Reading the same page of the Godfather. Godfather was Pulp Fiction. Reading it like it's the Bible.
He never really answered that question as to which part he read.
Yeah, and then
so we're not really sure what page he was reading.
What part? What's your favorite part of The Godfather? And he goes, "There's too many."
Give that guy credit. He went right back to it. He's like,
"No, no." But if you just said one.
So what part of it did you read?
They asked LeBron James, because if you don't recall, LeBron James was very big about carrying around The Godfather with him, and he always seemed to be reading the beginning of it. But he would, like, walk past cameras reading.
Yeah.
It wasn't like they, like, long lensed him at the park, reading at a park bench.
Because a lot of people walking down the hallway of an arena have a book in front of them open that they're reading.
He's lying on his stomach reading the Hunger Games in the locker room.
All right, here's him. But so anyway, but so he was obviously putting on a show that he was reading The Godfather, which is funny because it's not like The Godfather is some incredible piece of literature it's not Ulysses, like, wow, I can't believe he's reading this thing. It's a piece of popular fiction, but here is him being asked about it.
It is a question not related to the game, but since it has been a lot of publicity yesterday and today about Godfather Part 2, which is the scene or the moment or the phrase or the quote you like more from the movie?
Oh, from The Godfather. It's too many different phrases and too many different lines in that movie to just categorize one.
But which is the one which inspires you, represents you more?
I mean, each movie is 9 hours long. I mean, what do you want me to do?
I don't know. That gives you a lot to choose from. And why'd you say categorize?
I don't know. I'll let you pick one.
No one's asking you to categorize anything. They're asking you your favorite line. Why did you use the word categorize? Chimachi. I don't know. I mean, who cares about little old me? Except I might owe it to the people to give them a year.
I've never been that great with accepting like praise. It's a weird feeling for me.
Yeah, because no one's ever
really
done it
talked
before.
about it much, but it's just a weird feeling for me. So to go in each city, if that's the case, I just don't know how I feel. I don't know if I will feel great about it.
You know why he's also dumb is because A, that obviously is not true, and B, he thought that would make him look better than just going, Yeah, like it would be great. I could get like.
I'd be very appreciative.
It would be really great.
Nice.
Like he's so dumb that he thought being like demure in the situation made him look better. Even like what he said is because he thought it would make him look good. And what would made him would have looked better would just have been honest and been like, yeah, like I'd take a year I'd appreciate the whole thing. Instead of saying, I don't like the attention. That recluse, LeBron James.
Now they're going to end up rushing his kid into the NBA so he can play with him, too.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you really think someone's going to take Bronny James?
There was a report last week that the Lakers, in order to keep LeBron happy and in L.A., are thinking seriously about drafting Bronny, who's playing like 20 minutes a night at
Off
USC because he almost
got a heart
died.
condition.
Well, that's why he's only playing 20 minutes. He's limited right now. And everybody who knows says this kid needs more time in college if he's going to be a legitimate NBA player. But LeBron doesn't have a lot of time to wait.
That's the danger. I mean, look, you have Thanasis Antetokounmpo is not a good NBA player. He's not an NBA player. There are videos showing how poor an NBA player he is, but he's there because Giannis wants him there.
Did they burn a first-round pick on him?
Not Thanasis, no.
Yeah, okay, so...
Bronny's not going to get taken to the first round by anyone. They could take him at the end of the second round. There's no damage.
But if that's not being a good parent. If you're you can't do that to the kid. That's so unfair to the kid.
In a lot of different ways.
Really, that's unfair to him. It's not the best thing for him. It's not like, and if you're going to do it all armchair parent, if I'm going to armchair parent, that's terrible for the kid. I mean, you got to let the kid at least somewhat make it on his own. I mean, you can't make it as obvious as they're burning picks to just so you can play with him. And why are you so sure he wants to play with you? Like, why is that the best thing for him? It would be cool, and it would be a father's dream, but why are you so sure that's the best thing for him? Like, it'd be one thing if they just
it's bad enough. The kid's going to spend his entire life in the NBA being compared to his dad anyway and falling short. So let's put them on the floor next to each other so that everybody can really see.
See, this I don't know. Jay, go ahead.
Yeah, hey, I'm not a LeBron fan by any means, but, like, the one thing he's done, the one thing I think I've read about him was the amount of charity work that he does is off the hook.
Okay,
and
what does that have to do with anything? What does it have to do with anything?
Like,
who said he was a bad guy? He's not very smart. How does him doing charity work make him smart?
How old was he when he went to Miami? And who did he have around him? That's my point. Like, he probably had the worst crowd around him talking to, like, oh, do this.
Why?
Do that. Why?
It's the same. He has the same guy as his agent was his agent when he was
Maverick Carter.
Maverick Carter's his guy.
I know, and I think he's surrounded himself with the wrong people his whole career, basically.
He was 26. He was 26 when he went to Miami.
And that was
fully
your
functional
individual. You said at the time, and at the time he had the same people around him as he has with him now. He did a lot for charity. I didn't say the guy's a multiple felon, and I didn't even say that he was. I said I understood his narcissism. It's just every time he talks, it's dumb. I mean, if you're gonna talk, publicly for 20 years and not be very smart, I can make the judgment that you're not smart. It wasn't smart, and I gave you the two reasons. I laid it out for you. One is that he didn't have the self-realization to know this is ridiculous and this is going to look really dumb. And B, he thought it made him look better than just going, I would enjoy it. Anything he would have said would have been better than that. He just lied and just said it.
I get uncomfortable with people praising him.
I get uncomfortable when he talks because he just is trying to sound smart, and he's so not smart. It's not his fault. I can't imagine he's very well educated.
He is a product of the environment that he, NBA-wise, grew up in.
And as a basketball player and a competitor, I am not taking anything away with him from him. And I'm sure he's the greatest guy ever with charity. And I thought he was great in the Trainwreck movie. But in terms of...
Never saw that. He was good?
Oh, yeah, very good.
Okay.
But in terms of he says things that are not very smart. Hachi-machi. And by the way, you could have never seen The Godfather and know at least 3 lines from The Godfather. If you consume any popular culture. All right, we will be back. Jen McCaffrey is going to join us.
BackstageCountry.com, your online home for all things country music. Award-winning movies often have incredible soundtracks, and many of those have gone on to become country gold. We've picked our top 5 country songs that have been nominated for an Oscar. Text Oscar to 45911 to see if your favorite made the list on BackstageCountry.com. Text Oscar to 45911 and we'll send the link straight to your phone.
Twitch feed of this is going to be used all around the internet.
Get up.
The cat is finally out of the bag.
Get up.
We're back. Hunter and Hardy.
Get up.
98.5 The Sports Hub.
We have set parameters for him, and he's operating under those parameters.
Can we surmise that there is additional room from where you are now compared to the parameters that you set?
You know, I do not want to talk about specifics related to payroll and parameters because it does nothing to help us competitively. And look, I think the focus on spending is fair and reasonable given where we finished the last couple of years. We understand this frustration. The best way to turn that frustration around is to go out and win baseball games and have the focus be on the team and our players versus where we're spending.
What is love? Baby, don't hurt me. Don't hurt me no more. Baby, don't hurt me.
The song that was playing behind you.
Yeah, they were trying to get a hold of John Henry. Jen McCaffrey we're going to have on in a second. She can fully explain it, but they were trying to get a hold of John Henry or talking to Sam Kennedy, and this song was on in the background.
You picking out the music over there?
Yeah.
Were you a fan of this song when it came out?
This is more Saturday Night Live thing for me. That's how I really like this song.
You thought that was a very funny thing?
I did. Yeah. I like the night. What was the movie they made out of it?
You did like the movie. You liked that they took a non-dialogue skit, a 3-minute skit, and made an 88-minute movie out of it.
Will Ferrell and Chris Kattan were lovely in that movie.
Yeah, they were really good. Jen McCaffrey is the Red Sox beat writer for The Athletic. She joins us on the Volkswagen Dealers Expert Hotline. Jen McCaffrey, hello.
Hello, how you guys doing?
We are well. Are you enjoying Fort Myers? It's so lovely in Fort Myers.
Oh, yes. I'm not gonna complain about the weather, but it's actually like in the low 50s or like the high 50s, low 60s. So it's not the heat that you normally expect, but I know it's way warmer than Boston.
I mean, 50 sucks just as bad as 40. Yeah. I mean, it's really no better. So, I mean, listen, and you got to be in Fort Myers, which is not the part of Florida you're traveling to.
That's true.
If you're going on vacation.
What a tease, too, because you have Captiva and Sanibel right nearby and you can't go.
Well, you couldn't go there after. I mean, they just had to rebuild those bridges, my friend.
Yeah.
All right, Jen McCaffrey. So we played Sam Kennedy coming into this break. This goes against Tom Werner's whole dialogue in the offseason about how, basically the Red Sox were going to spend, and now they're saying they aren't. What do you think's going on with ownership? Why don't they have a unified message?
Yeah, I think that's the number one question we have. Tom Werner came out in the Breslow press conference in October and was, talking about full throttle. I know those comments have been, played over ad nauseum. We've talked about it all throughout the winter that we thought the Red Sox were actually going to start spending big on free agents, and then left and right, every guy was signing elsewhere. The Red Sox were in on guys, but, not ending up signing anyone outside of Lucas Giolito. And at winter weekend, Sam Kennedy came out and said that they expect payroll to be less. And then, yesterday basically said that Breslow's working within set parameters. So it does feel like there's a mixed message. And I think people have been frustrated for years and are only getting more frustrated. And I think they're trying to kind of toe the line here of, you heard Sam in that clip say, we know fans are frustrated. Well, if fans are frustrated, then, do something about it. And I think that's where people are at right now. They want the fans to believe in the team and show up and, believe in an underdog. But, this isn't the sort of underdog market. This is $1 billion franchise, and they they should be spending, and they keep just harping on the rebuild and all about the rebuild. And I think people are sure excited about these young prospects, but they want to see something in the present because they've been waiting for so long for this, and especially when Warner comes out in the fall and says that they're going to go full throttle. So yeah, it's completely understandable. Fans are kind of fed up at this point.
Is it a prelude to selling the team in the near future, or is it one of those deals where they're going to act like Kansas City, where you wait for all of your prospects to come up and sign them to long-term deals?
I think it's more of the latter. I don't see them selling. You know, they're not going to say it publicly, and they haven't. You know, they're invested in the team, but they're building up the area around Fenway. They have this huge development plan kind of in the works to kind of make the Fenway area like Wrigleyville almost. That's kind of in the early stages of planning. So they're investing. You know, I think that project itself is like $1.5 billion. So I can't see them putting all that money into the team in the area and then selling, you know, immediately, maybe way down the line. I think it's more they're trying to reorganize finances to sign this young core, and to, like you said, to try to be a Baltimore, to try to be, you know, what the Dodgers have done. Atlanta, you've seen Atlanta kind of do this with every one of those young guys on their roster. I think that's what they're trying to do, but obviously fans, you know, again, want to see the winning in the present because they've gone through so many losing seasons of late, and it's getting frustrating. It's getting tiring, especially again from a franchise that's, you know, multiple billions of dollars worth team.
In your opinion, why will John Henry not speak to you guys? You guys fought the good fight, tried to get him to say a few words to you. He declined again. It's been 4 years since he's spoken to the media in a formal setting. Why is he not speaking to you?
I think it kind of goes back to this whole dynamic even that we've just talked about with Warner and Kennedy. He knows that whatever he says, he's kind of always kind of stepping in it. And I think he's afraid to kind of have his words out there publicly because he's always feeling like he's going to say the wrong thing. Now, I still think that he should go out and talk to us, obviously, as a reporter. You know, like, I think that he has a responsibility for owning a franchise like this that is, you know, a fabric of the New England community, and he's asking people to go out and you know, pay top-notch tickets and sit in his seats, that he should be available to the public and talk to the public about his decision-making. And instead, he has sort of let Kennedy and Warner too. You know, Warner definitely has been around, but let Kennedy and Warner kind of be the message people while he's kind of the behind-the-scenes guy, and that's just what he's sticking to. He'll do some of those, you know, email, you know, correspondence last winter or last spring. I had a few, you know, email exchange with him, but those are, you know, very few and far between, I guess you could say. You know, once a year maybe, or, you know, whenever he kind of gets around to it, you can email him and he won't necessarily get back. So, yeah, I think he just doesn't want to say the wrong thing and doesn't want to be taken out of context. But at the same time, when you own a team like this, you have to make yourself available. So it's frustrating, and we've been trying, but I don't think it's going to change anytime soon.
I like what you said, because when you own a team, you are a steward of, like, he was already a billionaire. You can own a lot of things that make money. Kraft talked about it when he got rid of Belichick, that he looked at himself as, like, you know, just like the conduit of the fans. I'm just armchair psychiatrist now, because, I mean, Henry's changed a lot in terms of the way he runs this team since he's owned it. Do you think he cares as much anymore? Do you think that maybe there's a part of him that feels like, why should I talk to the media? All I've done is make this team into a winner, a team that no one thought was ever going to win, and all I do is get abused for it. Do you think there's some of that in him? I think he is. You know, I think there's definitely some. I think he still cares. Like, I don't want to say that he doesn't care. I think that there's the notion that, like, because they're not spending, they don't care. And I totally understand that, and it definitely kind of, like, lines up logically. I think it's just more that he, again, doesn't want to. He feels that he's, you know, done all this stuff here and, you know, was praised for years and years on end, and then, you know, made multiple mistakes in a row, whether it was with starting with the John Lester negotiations, to Mookie Betts, to, like, the stuff with Xander, and kind of down the line, you know, various things that have piled up. And I think has realized the more he starts to say, the more he's just putting himself in it.
and kind of getting himself, in trouble in terms of the way that he's phrasing things or answering things or things like that. So I think that's where he's coming from. Again, it's sort of hard because again he won't really tell us, so you're sort of just left to wonder why, because he kind of won't come out and tell you exactly. But that's sort of my best guess. I think that's more of what it's about, is sort of just the messaging and kind of maybe like you said, some frustration that people aren't still holding on to 2004, which again, millions of people appreciated that and, held on to that and changed their lives, but it's also 20 years ago. So I think people this town is all about what have you done for me lately in terms of their championships. And obviously a lot of the teams haven't lived up to par. So I think the Red Sox are definitely feeling the heat, and he's, I think, a little frustrated by that.
I'm sure he cares, but do you think all of the other properties he owns, and there are numerous amounts of the fact that he's not spending on the Red Sox while negotiating $1 billion deal with the PGA Tour is not a good look, but do you think all the other properties he owns has kind of shifted his focus away from the Red Sox?
Yeah, I think so. I think, I don't know that they're going to admit that, but at the end of the day, he's a businessman, right? He'll come out and say, I'm a big fan, and I think he is a fan of the game, but at the same time, he's a businessman. So, he's expanding the portfolio, and they don't want you to look at it that way, but that's what it comes down to. This is what this is about for them. How many owners are out there just to own the team for the love of the game? It's all about the bottom line, right? And they don't necessarily want you as a fan to notice that or to realize that, but that's really what it is, right? And so, yes, I think they're frustrated that maybe he's frustrated that people are starting to, question his loyalty because he's been, expanding the portfolio, and they'll try to say it's to the benefit of the Red Sox because it's, bringing in money from elsewhere eventually. But yeah, fans are obviously going to look at that and say, why are you spending money on Liverpool or the PGA or, RFK Racing or any of their, pieces of their portfolio, and wonder why all that money's not going towards the Red Sox. So, I think all of that is a factor. And, I think that is potentially one reason why they kind of folded Theo Epstein into the mix to kind of, Epstein's going to be kind of consulting on every facet of FSG, but he has kind of the obviously everyone knows, the background with the Red Sox and what he did here in 04 and 07, and just sort of guiding, being able to be a kind of a sounding board for a young GM or a young chief baseball officer in Craig Breslow. But also, he's got connections with the Penguins GM, Kyle Dubas. So I think bringing him in was sort of a way to say, hey, we're still focused here. Like, don't get the wrong idea. But obviously that has been the idea over the past several years.
Jen, just finally, is this, since you're, it's February, you're already in Fort Myers, and that this is your life until October. Is there a part of you that's frustrated? Like, are you finding this personally frustrating at all? Because more than any, we can turn it off. You can't.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't say frustrating. It's like, my job is just to kind of report on what's happening, whether it's good, whether it's bad. I've covered the 13 and 18 World Series seasons. I've covered the 14-15 season when it was, a pretty awful time here. So, I mean, I think you just kind of have to try to find, you've got kind of have to just find the stories of what's kind of happening in the background. And yeah, obviously, the fans are more excited and into reading what you have to write when the team is doing better. But I think there's just as much value in kind of giving the fans an outlet for their frustrations when the team is doing what they're doing right now. So I think you kind of have to look at it that way and, just kind of deal with it in that sense. So no, I mean, I don't know that I'm necessarily frustrated, but I can completely understand why the fans, that are paying to kind of want to see this team, don't want to see this team and don't want to pay. So I think, kind of continuing to report on it in this sense is hopefully a service to them to kind of give them an outlet to kind of vent their frustrations, and maybe if it puts pressure on the team to kind of eventually do something, then that's what it will be. But it's just kind of it's been like this for a few years now, so it's a little bit, we're kind of in the same boat. So we'll see where the year takes us, I guess.
All right, Jen McCaffrey, read all about the Red Sox and what's going on on The Athletic. Thank you so much for the time.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Jen.
All right. Here's a prediction. This is the most we'll have ever talked about the Red Sox until this time next year. There's going to be a lot of, if you like the non-sports content, be tuned in this summer.
Yeah.
Because I'm not talking about the Red Sox.
No, and most fans are going to be apathetic after opening day. Opening day is like a holiday around here, and everyone will show up, and everyone will drink, and everyone will go to the game, and it'll be 45 degrees at first pitch, and then after they lose opening day, people won't pay attention again.
All right. If opening day, Hachi Machi, that's the last day I'd want to go. So it's colder in April than it is in October. I got news for you. I remember when we were moving here, because we knew we were coming here, and we were moving here Memorial Day weekend, or we were going on the air Memorial Day week after Memorial Day, and I remember looking at Red Sox games because you really don't pay attention, and seeing people in jackets in the crowd in May, and going, "Oh my God, where the hell am I moving?" All right, here are the headlines.
BackstageCountry.com, your online home for all things country music. Lainey Wilson is on a roll. She's delivering great music and teaming up with some of country's hottest acts. Text Lainey to 45911 to see which 4 Lainey Wilson collabs have us talking at BackstageCountry.com. Text Lainey to 45911 to get a link to the list sent right to your phone from BackstageCountry.com.
Dutcher and Hardy, the reviews are in.
I got to say, I don't want to talk about you. Give me about 5 minutes of my time.
Hear what he said. Now more of on the Sports Hub.
Hey, we're Dutcher and Hardy, brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more with FanDuel. Hardy's out this week, so for the first 3 days, Johnston the second chair. But don't think that Ryan Johnston, don't think that John is overly concerned. He's shopping. He's doing a little shopping. He's not, seeing what we're doing next break. And I was told to guess what he was shopping for, and now I know.
See if you can guess what
See if you can guess what John's shopping for. It's not birdseed or gum, but it's something he's legitimately shopping for, and you've never seen him without it.
Never seen him without it?
Yes.
What do I wear every day?
A hoodie? A
Yeah,
hat?
he's searching for hoodies.
But maybe you're wearing a Kraken hat today. I thought maybe you needed to replace your Expos hat.
The Kraken hat annoys the Twitch people very much because they think that he's trying to prove something with the Kraken hat. He's like trying to be.
Is that right? The Twitch people not happy with that?
You know that they've called in. God, you don't remember anything. They've called in. They've emailed. We've covered.
Got
this many
one
times.
email on it.
Oh no. Their people have called in. They
right.
don't like the Kraken hat. I don't either. You're
Okay.
trying. You're pretending. You just think you think it's like some exotic thing that you have that you've been to Seattle,
or it's a hat that fits me well that I like.
Oh, as opposed to what hats? It's a fitted hat. How could it not fit you well?
Some hats that are fitted are like spray out on top and make me look like it's like a saucepan on top of my head.
John doesn't have a normally shaped head, so
No.
maybe it's tough to find the perfect fit.
I have never really considered that this hat doesn't fit my head. A fitted hat doesn't fit my head.
I don't understand why people are so angry about
Because-
this. It's a hat that I
Because you
like that I
annoy.
brought back from the West Coast. It fits me fine, so I wear it.
See how he throws in? I brought it back from the West Coast.
Oh, all right.
That's why it annoys people because you're
okay.
so proud that you brought it back from the West Coast.
That's right. That's the first thing I mention every single time that I went to Seattle.
Well, I mean, John.
I mention that all the time, Fred.
John.
Even in our
Was that
post-show meetings.
Was that the
Did
trip
you
where
know
you
I
stayed
went
in
to
the
Seattle,
greatest
Fred?
hotel in the world?
Yes. No, that was Vancouver.
Oh.
That was different.
No, but it was the same trip.
Same trip, right?
Same trip, different city. But that's the first thing I bring up in all our post-show meetings. You know what? Did you know I went to Seattle? That's
John,
the thing. Everyone needs to know that.
The problem is John didn't travel for how long? Other than with the Celtics for 5 years,
Something like that, yeah.
he was not on an airplane for 5 years, except for private planes with the Celtics. So when he finally got out to that Seattle, boy, oh boy, he was
Couldn't get
out
enough
of his
it.
mind.
That's right.
And it really bothers people. I wish you wouldn't wear it anymore. You bother the audience with it.
Okay. All right. Tomorrow I'll wear something else.
I don't know. It's like I had a friend whose wife's father. He would wear this Hard Rock Cafe Singapore shirt. And then he would like point to it like, you've never been to Singapore. Like, what are you doing? Like, he would wear it, so you would, like, ask him. And then
Hard
he would.
Rock Cafe, that's another thing.
He would be like, Singapore. Like, like, I'm a world traveler.
Yeah, but if you ask him about it, and does he say that I haven't been to Singapore?
No, he would say that he has, and then she would shake his head, or her head no. But he would always have this Hard Rock Cafe Singapore thing on. But, John, so you need more hoodies?
Just during the break, I took a look.
What are you looking at?
Just a store that I recently stumbled across online called Marine Layer. That's what I was looking at.
And now, are they exclusively hoodies?
No, they have a bunch of things.
Now, do these hoodies say anything, or are they just plain hoodies?
No, they're just plain hoodies.
Plain
hoodies.
with no words on them.
Right. And that would be a definite change for me.
All right.
Usually everything I wear has something on it, like today, the Boston Celtics hoodie.
Are you on this site now, Ryan?
I am.
John, maybe you should buy a hat. Get it something other than
That's right. Buy a hat with nothing on it.
The hats to him are sacred, though. They have to be purchased in the location of where where they represent.
Can't go on Fanatics and get them.
No.
That's right. If I went on Fanatics, bought a Seattle Kraken hat, and wore it, wouldn't you think that's a little strange?
I don't know what the difference would be at all. I don't know. I honestly,
this at times reminds me of the trip that I went on, and it was a very nice trip.
Oh,
Did you go to a Kraken game while you were there? Or
What's that?
Did you go to a Kraken game?
No, it was during the summer.
Okay.
Yeah, so I mean, Brian has a point. You didn't even go to a Kraken game. It just you were in Seattle.
It was in the vicinity of Seattle, and
I bought. Actually, truth be told, I bought this hat like 100 yards away from the arena.
He was at the Space Needle.
He was taking I was at actually
tour of the Space
exactly
Needle.
what happened. I was at the Space Needle. We went up in the Space.
Climate Pledge
Why did you
Arena.
buy a walking
Space Needle
around?
hat.
We're walking around in the same area. There's a lot to do around there, and there was a Kraken store right there, and I bought this hat. It's exactly how it happened.
But so you say if you would have gone on Fanatics and bought it, it would have been strange?
Yeah, because I wasn't there. It was a random. That would have been a random purchase. This was not a random purchase. I was in Seattle. I was at the Kraken store.
One of your parents lives there, right?
Yes.
Why is it so exotic? Is that why? Is it a shout out to your parents?
No, it's not.
Is it because you miss them?
Well, I always miss them. They neither.
Well, you never go
here.
out there.
Yeah,
you really don't go out to
not
see
often.
Your mother lives in Seattle,
yes,
right?
My mother lives in Seattle.
Who seems like she would be a lovely woman. You never talk about her.
Okay.
Does she listen to the show?
Yes, every once in a while. Again,
all right, Miss
It's on very early in Seattle.
I was just going to say,
she's
it's
the
5:55 in the morning where she is.
All right. Does she ever go around in a limousine to Dick's? Or does she, stop to go the other way? We'll stop and eat at Dick's. Dick's is the place where the cool hang out.
Yeah, it's drive-in.
Like to play. You don't know my posse's on Broadway and you go to Seattle?
It took me a second. Yes, no, she does not.
All right. Is she mad at you because you turned your back on Judaism? Is that why she won't talk
but
to
she
you?
wants to talk to you about the whole Mark Davis thing.
Oh yeah, that's right, Mark. Because in my mind, she's had sex with Mark Davis
multiple times.
Because she'd be attracted to him because you and him are the same intellectually.
Yeah.
All right. So,
of course.
But but you and your mother because you don't go out and see her very often, and that's why he wears the hat. Ryan is his mother because he knows he's letting her down. She's not going to be here forever.
That's right. She's not.
And
how often do you speak to your mother a week again?
3 times, 4 times.
4 times? How long are the conversations?
She's probably listening now. Not as long as they used to be.
How long?
15 minutes, I'd say 15 minutes.
15 minutes
It's always in the car. I only talk to people in the car.
Okay, so but 3 times.
Wait, but I'm in the car, as you know, hours and hours a day.
Yeah.
So I'm in the car a lot. So I talk to my mom. I talk to my mom a lot. I don't talk to my father very often because he is when he's recuperating from something, which is 90% of the time, he doesn't want to talk to anyone, which I understand because it just annoys him. And then I just don't talk to him on the phone.
So
men don't talk on the phone.
She never hands the phone. Here's your father. That kind of thing.
If they're in the car together, yeah. But it's funny, like because they're all old. So like if I call her cell phone, sometimes I'll call the house phone because I know that she's madly scrambling. Because when I've been to their house, like when one of the phones goes off, it's like a Chinese fire drill. Like they're wet cats. Like they all hell's breaking loose in that house. So I know
they're under attack.
That the phone rings a painfully short amount of time for them to find it. So I'll call the home phone, which I know sets off a whole other set of dominoes. And them trying to find the home phone.
It's like what happens in the house when you ring the doorbell and the dog freaks out.
Yeah. That's exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is. It's them scrambling around. They're probably yelling at each other. And then my dad will answer the phone, and I can tell my dad's like, he'll be like, hello? Like, like he's been racing, and I'll be like, hey, and he'll notice me. He's like, oh, hey. And then, like, I'll know that he's like, oh, Jesus Christ. And then I'll talk to him for a couple minutes, and then he'll be like, okay, then. Yeah. Even if, like, unless I have, like, a problem, which, it's not all the time. Then he'll be like, oh, Jesus, but he won't get off the phone. But if it's just like I'm calling, he'll go, and then he'll go, you want to talk to your mother? That's what he always says. You want to talk to your mother?
So the conversation he has with you is more of a conduit to the next conversation.
Yeah. So he hands the phone to my mother. My mother doesn't hand the phone to my father.
Okay.
And then my mother goes, hello, Freddie.
But you talk to Mama, touch her 3 times a week. Good for you.
3 or 4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah, better son than you, there's no question about it. And I don't walk around with some Kraken hat on like a poser. At least I'm from the place where I'm wearing my hat from. All right, we'll be back in just a moment.